Hello, welcome to Fantastic Dimensions. This is the second episode in our Lamentations of the Flame Princess campaign. This episode will be a direct continuation, picking right up where we left off with the last episode. So this is called The Orphanage. So you guys had, well, done your morning prayers, a couple of you anyway, around the smoldering ruins of the incontinent vicar and the garage to the horrible screams of the dying horses. Afterwards, you decided to march on for a couple of hours and make camp because none of you had slept through the entire night. And those of you who were of the casty types were out of spells, etc. So you made camp. It would have been probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. And you probably wouldn't break camp until late in the afternoon, say maybe even 4 o'clock or so. So you do break camp and you continue to move on in the direction of Canterbury, which is your ultimate destination. You're still a few days away from there. Anthony's character, Father, what was his name again? Sorry. I actually don't have it written down here for some reason. I must have it written down somewhere else. Anyway, the priest who travels with you has decided to go on to Argyle, which is a town not far away. It's about a half hour's walk from the incontinent vicar. He's going on there to inform Father Naylor, the priest there, just of what has happened to the incontinent vicar, basically considering one of their own citizens died in the fire, Nicole Gingerbottom. So he's gone on to just kind of, give them the bad news, the information. Being a representative of the church, he figured it was probably best for him to go. Of course, the Inquisitor could have gone, but the father is a slightly less imposing and intimidating figure and might be better at, dealing with people in a diplomatic fashion. So the three of you are continuing on your own in the meantime. So you guys are walking down the road, the kind of dusty trail with no horses of your own. The tailor, Mr. Hughes, has a really heavy backpack. You probably slung that over the mule, though. I suppose you're not carrying that over your shoulder, are you?
Yeah, I'll have that over the mule.
Yeah, he's got a backpack with a few hundred silver spoons rammed into it, hanging off the mule, which you guys are bringing with you because the priest went on foot on his own. As you guys are walking, you hear you hear horse hooves coming down the road up ahead. Sounds like multiple horses moving at a canter. Not quite a gallop, but a canter. The road is not very wide. Do you want to stand in the middle of the road? Do you want to move to the side? Do you want to try to hail whoever's coming, or?
I will stand in the middle of the road.
I will hide. I am going to secure the mule and the spoons.
Off to the side of the road?
Yep.
Okay. So Clement takes the mule off to the side of the road just so it doesn't get trampled in case these horses just barrel through. Denise takes cover in the trees so as not to be seen. And the Inquisitor stands proudly in the middle of the road as four horses eventually come around the bend. And you see knights on their backs. Go ahead and give me a quick wisdom roll, Brother Malleus.
Sure.
Just roll a d20. You want to roll under your wisdom score.
That's a 1, so I definitely rolled under it.
Yes, you did. That's a perfect roll. Yeah, you
Okay.
see right away. You see the emblem on their kind of tabard. Is that what they call the cloth they wear over?
Tabard.
Yeah, you see the emblem on the tabard of the lead knight, and they are members of the Order Medical. So they are kind of a holy order.
Okay, we'll call out to them and I'll say, what day is it? What time is it?
It is late afternoon, going into early evening now. What day it is, I don't know.
That's fine. So just as long as it's not Sunday.
Now we'll say it's Wednesday. Why not?
Sure. Then I'll say, greetings, brothers. Good evening.
Yep, they come to a halt
Damn straight.
to you. And
I'll ask them, what brings you to this road? Where are you going?
the lead knight gets off his horse and walks up to you. He's I'd say he's probably in his late 40s. He looks very proud as he walks up to you. He says, I'm Brother Corsica. Or sorry, I'm sorry, brother. I am Boris Corsica of the Order Medical. He says, we are traveling to an inn where we have just dropped off orphans at the orphanage back the way we come from. Unfortunately, men are not allowed to stay with the sisters in the orphanage and the children. So we're going on to the only inn in the area, the Incontinent Vicar, to spend the night.
Quality establishment.
Have you just come from there?
No, I've been there other times in my travels.
Ah, you're on this road. You must have passed by it.
Yes, we have rather pressing business, so we decided not to stop.
Ah, who is we? Your friend there with the mule.
Yes, this is my compatriot,
Hail!
Mr. Hughes. And we
I just
also
kind of wave from behind the mule.
There's a slight rustle in the tree.
we also have an elf with us.
Oh, an elf.
Yes,
I stay hidden.
a Muslim elf.
He starts looking around. He says, I didn't think there were any of them left on this island.
Unfortunately, there are some left.
One of the knights on one of the horses, chuckles and says, "Ha! I thought we'd wiped them all out by now."
I ready
It's
my
not-
crossbow.
An elf traveling with an inquisitor, strange company. And Boris says to you, "Yes, it is strange to encounter an inquisitor walking down this road in times like these. Where do you travel to?"
We belong to a special order, which is why I have not burned the elf at the stake. We're heading along the road.
You seem to be a man who keeps many secrets, brother. Well, I'll trouble you no longer.
Very well. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Sir Corsica. God go with you.
And to you, brother
Malleus.
Malleus. Well, Godspeed. He climbs back on his horse, waves at Clement, looks around again to see where the elf is, doesn't see any, shrugs, and they ride off. Continuing on towards the Incontinent Vicar,
Oh shit.
which they
My
should
crossbow
arrive at.
is-
Actually, they're on horseback. They'll probably be there in about half an hour.
My crossbow's aimed at Malleus's head.
Okay, you're looking at down the sight.
Mm-hmm.
Malleus, roll another wisdom check. And
It's two.
huh?
It's a 2.
You want to give me a stealth roll? Actually, stealth is a skill, isn't it? Give me a stealth roll, Chepe, for Denise.
All right. I believe Denise just does an average stealth.
Which should
Yeah,
just be
you
1 in 6.
Yeah, sure it is. It is.
Just roll d6.
All right. Read my. Wait, we at dice stream. Okay.
You don't have to. It's up to you. If you guys prefer real dice, I know I'm rolling real dice, so.
I might grab mine.
I'm stealthed.
Oh yeah. You can see basically. You see the bush rustle a little bit, and you figure he's in there somewhere, but you can't see him. He's hidden pretty well.
I'm unconcerned. He's a coward.
I fire my crossbow.
Yeah, at his head.
At his head.
Okay, roll to hit.
All right, ranged.
What's your armor class, Brother Malleus?
It's definitely better against ranged than it is against other stuff. It's a 16 against ranged.
Oh shit.
16.
That's a
Okay.
hit. So damage on your crossbow.
Right. There's no modifiers to that, right? It's just straight?
Yeah, I think it's just straight.
Okay, d6. 3.
3 points of damage. A crossbow bolt strikes you in the head, Brother Malleus.
Okay, I fire my gun. Not putting up with that shit.
Okay, roll to hit. Chepe, I'm
No, I
going to
miss.
give you cover. Yeah. You fire your gun in his direction.
Okay.
Pull the crossbow bolt out of my head.
Clement, what are you doing?
I see Malleus get struck by a bolt, and I yell, "Malleus, no!" And I let go of the mule, and I run over to assist him.
Okay.
I take out the other crossbow bolts from my... from my arsenal, since I have them strapped to each other, and I put the other crossbow, the crossbow that's unloaded, and I drop out at the tree. Are you done with your meandering?
Do you really think that you're going to travel with me now? You've attempted to kill me.
I fire again.
Okay, roll to hit.
Damn, I miss.
Okay, I try and stab him.
Okay, you're going to charge over to him.
This is melee, right?
Yeah. And then we'll roll initiative after that.
That's 3, I miss again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll initiatives.
What do
It's
I roll? A
D6, by the
D6.
way, for initiative, yeah. Just D6.
4. Do you add anything to it?
Mm,
Like dex or anything?
You have an initiative bonus, I thought. It said on the sheet.
yeah, I think it's based on your dex. You should have an initiative bonus on your
dex,
sheet.
yes, it is. So
What's your dexterity modifier?
+2.
So you're on 6.
Mine's a 7.
so I have a 6.
So Malleus and Denise are both on 6. And you're on 7, Clement?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, what do you want to do as you see this fight breaking out? The
Well-
Inquisitor draws his sword, charges the elf, and swings and misses. The elf standing there with an unloaded crossbow in his hand.
My knee-jerk reaction was just to sprint over to Malleus. I got like 3 steps out and saw Dennis drop from the tree and pull out another bolt. So I'm going to reel back and grab the reins on the mule and try to run it between them.
Okay, to break it up.
Yeah, so am I able to get to him in time?
Yeah, sure. I'll just have you roll just roll a basic attack roll, I guess, for competency, just to see how well if you manage to put yourself in the mule between the two of them.
All right. A 15 on the dice, so it would be 17.
That's pretty damn good. Yeah, you burst right through with the mule between them. Do you want to say anything as you do so?
Yeah, so I grab the strap and I run through and I say, "Stop it! Stop it right now! There's no profit in this! There's no profit!" And I grab the reins tight and the mule's just hawing as I roll him through. And he's between, he starts to spin around. You see his tail swatting all over the place.
Okay.
"Stop it right now, I say! Put down your weapons!"
Malleus and Denise, you guys are going to act simultaneously. What do you want to do?
I would like to cast command on these.
You're going
On
to cast
Denise?
command.
Yep.
I want to cast Unseen Servant, because I can do so with one hand and get the donkey to fall on top of Brother Malleus.
You try to push the donkey or frighten it into him? Okay. Right. So this all happens simultaneously. Both spells will go off.
Did I?
What's the command you're giving him anyway?
Drop his weapons.
Okay.
Actually throw them away from him.
Okay. Let's see here. For command, cleric casts a spell, just a single word command, which it obeys to the best of its ability. Any intended target has more than 5 levels or hit dice. He's entitled to saving throw. Oh, well, he doesn't, so he will throw his weapon away.
Both of
And
them.
you're doing the Unseen Servant to frighten the mule into Brother Malleus.
Unseen Servant has a strength. It just takes concentration. It's invisible. It's a ethereal force, so it can't be hit. So I'm just going to use its basic strength, basically tug at its back leg to get it to rear up and try to slam into Malleus.
Okay. Make a strength check for it then.
All right, let me look at the strength of the Unseen Servant. Thank you, PDFs, for being searchable.
Just says it can lift 20 pounds and drag 40 pounds, so it's
Okay.
it's not super strong.
No, just blank then. We'll do blank. 14.
Okay. It rears up, knocks you back, Brother Malleus, but it won't, it doesn't like land on top of you or anything quite like that.
Okay.
And Denise throws his crossbow away from him.
Both of them. Important.
It's a single word command, actually.
Single word command.
Yeah, it's a single word. So what's your word?
So I can't get him to throw anything, really. I could say throw, but that makes no sense. Okay, I will say kneel.
Okay. So he kneels.
Kneeled. I still have my crossbow.
Next round, initiative.
You rolled every round, do you?
I think so.
Okay, 7.
6.
Okay.
5.
Okay, Brother Malleus, you're next.
Okay,
He's
so he's
kneeling. He still has a crossbow in his hand.
Okay, I want to walk over next to him and drive my sword through the back of his neck.
Roll to hit.
It's 3.
Okay, you miss.
Do I not get anything for him being like kneeling? No.
No, because he's not helpless. He just kneeled.
Right, so-
Denise.
I'm going to try to use my scimitar because he's up close. There's no point in trying to reloading a crossbow. So I
No.
drop it.
Yeah. You can drop it. You can draw. You'll get a -2 to your attack since you're drawing and attacking in the same round, but that's fine.
Gotcha. Alright, which is okay. That just makes it flat because of my attack bonus. So 10.
Okay, so also misses. So he probably parries with his saber. Clement.
Well, seeing as nothing is working with the mule, and I'm not going to try to restrain one of them because I'm afraid that it would be like holding a man in a fight and the other person will kill him.
Yeah.
So I'm grabbing the spoons off the back of the mule and hiding behind the edge of the tree.
Okay. You grab your spoons and hide by the tree. Fuck the mule. Okay. It's the next round initiative. You don't have to roll if you don't want to. If you're just going to hide, Andrew, you don't have to roll initiative.
3.
D6.
Okay, Denise, you have the initiative now.
I'll stay. Can I be on the end of the initiative by default, Ian, just in case I want
sure.
to do
If you
something?
want to take an action, yeah.
Okay.
Just if you decide after their actions you want to do something.
Scimitar.
Okay. So you can get to your feet now, Denise, anyway. And
20.
Oh, okay.
Is there
Actually,
crits in this game?
I think there are. I don't actually. I need to go back and look.
Well, at least we're learning mechanics. Sorry, Lloyd. No hard feelings like
All
out of
good.
character.
Let's just see here. Combat.
I think we knew this was going to happen when we made our characters. It's like, I'm okay. I'm a man of God.
I didn't think it was going to happen in the first 5 minutes of a session, but that's cool. Everybody has backup characters,
An
right?
eternity of heaven awaits me, Elf. Can you burn in the fires of hell for this?
Oh shit! Why can't I find?
I believe Allah knows his own.
So hang on, it's been like 6 seconds since those knights left, right?
Yeah, they rode off.
Can I shout?
They probably won't hear you. They're riding on horses at a canter.
Knights! Knights of God, protect me from this heathen!
We gotta see damage first, because if not, we both die and I get trampled by knights, and then Clement ends up being indicted, promoted
I know why I
for
can't
protecting
find
a man of God to his death.
I'm looking in the wrong book.
I hope Clement ends up a martyr because of this. That would be funny.
Clement.
He
You
protected
mean-
a man of God. He
Oh,
tried to.
he tried
to
I
hurl
didn't
his
try
gun.
very hard.
He has to die to become a martyr. I don't think Clement's interested in being a martyr. Okay. Now I'm
No.
You don't want to be a You don't want to be a martyr?
There's no profit in it.
There's no profit in being a
What are you doing? There's no profit in this.
At this age, there's profit to be made in Martyr's artifacts. You would be worth a fortune.
Okay, distance reaction surprise.
I could fake dying as a martyr.
And then sell your own, like, fake bones, like use Denise's bones or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here you go. Yet there are no critical hits or fumbles, I don't think, in default rules of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. But I have this. Okay, roll a d30, which you can't, can you? So I'll roll for you.
The sword breaks. God smites him.
16. This session. Oh, wow. Whenever player rolls a natural 20 while attacking in melee. This is interesting, Chepe. You like this. If you finish this session without losing a single hit point more, you automatically gain a level.
Cool.
If you would have
Probably
gained a
not
level
gonna
anyway, then your experience award will be doubled. Okay?
Right. Here's the
As long as you don't lose any more hit points. And
3
what's your
damage.
damage? 3 damage. Okay.
So I'm dead, I think.
Well, you had taken 3 before, right?
Right, so I'm dead.
6. You're down?
Do I
Okay,
get
he's
to...
unconscious.
How does initiative work? Do we all go? Is that how it works in this game?
No, because I'm doing side initiative, so it goes by segment.
Okay, cool. So Brother Elijah's dead.
Brother Elijah's at 0 hit points. He's not dead yet. He's on
Okay.
the ground, kind of, in that point between life and death, yeah.
Okay.
You see
in
this,
his last
Clement?
moments, he prays to God that the knights will come back and smite the infidel. That's all he wants.
Clement?
And Brother Corsica just hears a tickling in the back of his mind as God communicates with him. And they turn their horses around and they charge him down.
Please let that happen. Total party wipe by night.
I see this as a battle of ideologies. So I sit down behind the tree and close my eyes tightly and hold the bag.
Okay. Denise, what do you want to do? Your opponent lies prone before you.
We had an
unconscious and
arrow in
bleeding.
his temple, I guess. I don't know.
No, you'd taken it out.
Yes, okay.
You put another one in?
Well, I'll load my crossbows first,
Okay.
methodically. Make sure I got it up, put it in there, and then while he's bleeding, I'll try to wrap him up, take away his gun and his sword, tie it in a rope, hang it from my back, and then I'll lift him over my shoulder and then carry him on our way to Canterbury.
Okay.
Return to Clement. Going to Canterbury?
Yes, indeed. And I get up and straighten out my tunic, my doublet.
Uh-oh.
Your mercy is legendary. They will sing songs about you.
I'm sure. He whispers in the ear of the man he's carrying, Denise Rashander, not elf.
I'm just seeing a vision of heaven before me. And there's not a single elf to be seen. It's beautiful.
I take the mule by the cord we've been leading him by, and I kind of stroke the side of his head. I'm sorry you had to see that. Give him a couple of pats and walk.
I wrap him up. Hopefully he won't bleed to death. Of course, if he does, that's no problem with Denise. But he can't kill someone. He just wanted to prove a point.
How bad is his wound? If I like investigated it.
Nope.
Oh, he's back.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Technical
Don't worry, Ian,
difficulties.
we're not out of a party yet.
Okay, so sorry, you were standing up and straightening out your tunic, Clement, was the last thing I heard.
Oh, okay. Basically, if I look at his body, Malleus's body, how bad does the wound look? Does it look like something I could stitch using my skills as a tailor?
Well, he's, you're not going to be able to do any medicine on him that's going to heal him or anything quite like that, no. No, he's probably going to survive it as long as he's not just left out in the wilderness, you know.
Does he have like any large cuts, like any large areas of bleeding?
He's got a rather shallow cut across his other temple, not the one that had the bolt stuck in it. You know how head wounds are, though; they always look worse than they are. You figure he was probably taken out by the concussive blow more so than the actual loss of blood.
So I'll kind of look it over and I'll tell Dennis, well, I thought I might stitch him up, but there's nothing really deep enough. You're pretty good with that thing.
I just didn't want my life being threatened by knights on the way to Canterbury.
I understand.
Do not unveil me as an elf in public. He puts a hood over himself, and he just continues carrying.
Kind of disconcerted by the man's threat because I know he'd lay me out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh, don't get me wrong. The man was a legendary bigot. I do not endorse what he did. You had every right.
Somehow I feel you would do the same if there was enough money.
You've never met such an amicable fellow as me. Don't worry about it. Let's go to Canterbury.
You guys continue on down the road then. It's actually starting to get kind of dark. It's getting into the twilight kind of time of the night. And you hear another horse approaching from ahead. This one at a gallop. Sounds like a single horse.
Am I going to be out until we get healing for me?
You're going to be unconscious until somebody heals you or until you rest for a night.
Okay.
So you'll wake up in the morning. As long as nobody slits your throat. Which is another thing I get to look up is healing. Natural healing. But yeah, so you hear a horse galloping down the road up ahead of you in your direction. It's not coming from behind you, so it's not the knights coming back.
I hide off the road.
I will, I'll take to the center of it and slowly walk the mule.
What do you want to do with the Inquisitor when you go hide, Denise?
I drop his ass on the ground in the bushes.
Okay.
I hide behind a tree.
And you were stepping off the side of the road again, Andrew, you said, yeah?
Yep, just to the edge of it.
Okay, you see the horse come galloping down the road, and it looks like a woman sitting in the saddle.
Is she sitting like sideways on it, or is she riding it like a man?
No, she's riding like a man. She is wearing a nun's habit. She has a rather nasty-looking battle axe hanging at her side.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll give her a wide berth.
And she passes you and pulls up and stops and turns around and starts to kind of trot back.
Taking out my handkerchief and wiping off my nose. Stuff
Says,
it back in my
there,
doublet.
traveler.
I look up at her. Good evening, sister.
She says, it's very late for you to be wandering the street at night. Why did you not stay at the inn?
Me and my compatriots are on our way to Canterbury, and we just did not have the time to spare, I'm afraid.
She starts looking around. Roll a stealth check again for me, Chepe. Looking around, she says, compatriots? Jeez,
I smile.
Her hand kind of instinctively reaches for the battle axe, thinking maybe it's an ambush or something.
I touch the back of the mule and I say, no, don't get me wrong. We're not looking for any hostility. We just didn't know who was coming down the road.
I see.
He coughs.
Lord have mercy.
She says,
I
did you
stuff
see...
a piece of cloth down his throat.
Did you see 4 knights ride down this road?
Yes, quite a ways back. They said they were on their way to the incontinent vicar.
I see. I have to catch those knights. They dropped off. Well, they were supposed to drop off 20 orphans. They dropped off 21. We only have papers for 20, though. We can't legally take custody of the children without the proper paperwork unless the knights sign a form to say that the parentage is uncertain and cannot be determined. Puts us in a bit of a situation.
You got a long ride ahead of you then, sister. They had quite a head start.
Very well. Well, it's paramount that I must catch them.
I just give her a little bit of a nod. Godspeed.
She gets back on her horse and gallops off.
Help!
It's getting pretty dark now.
All right, I'll walk over to Malleus and check on him since he got thrown in the bush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still have his musket, by the way, and his sword.
Is he still completely out cold?
Yeah, he's still pretty out of it, but he's breathing a little bit better now.
Ah, shit. Shouldn't have let that elf carry him. He's been a little bit too hard on him. I start picking him up over my shoulder and limping him over to the mule.
What's your strength?
My strength is 13.
Yeah, okay, you can do that.
So, like, I have his hand over my shoulders, kind of acting like a rest for him as I'm limping him over.
Mm-hmm.
And I throw him over the back of the mule. Just so he's kind of like laying on it horizontally, drooped over the side.
Okay, yeah, you get him tossed over the back of the mule. Denise, are you still hiding?
Fine, I'll just keep his weapons.
Okay.
So that would be a good idea, Denise.
See to it he does not get us killed until then. Just for the order, we've already killed each other already.
Now, while I was manhandling Ian, I want to try to search his...
Sorry, you're manhandling Malleus, not Ian.
Right. As I was Jesus. As I was manhandling Malleus, could I like do a check to see if I could feel valuables in his pockets?
You could indeed, yeah. Do you have any valuables in your pockets, Brother Malleus? I don't think he does. He's got an oath of poverty, so...
I do. I have nothing worth taking.
So you don't even have... You have no money at all?
I have zero money, yeah.
He had like some extra shot for that pistol, I think.
Right, I have a bit of bullets and shot for the pistol. That's it.
All right.
Some butter.
Clothes.
So I feel the bullets and stuff, and I'm not too concerned about it. And I think to myself, gosh, this is why I hate these religious types. So I'll look over to Denise and say, well, shall we head to Canterbury?
Of course.
It's dark. You want to travel at night?
Denise has no problem with traveling at night.
I could go for a nice nighttime stroll. It's good for the lungs. Ah!
Denise has no problem traveling at night, you say?
Nope. There's no problem with that.
Okay. So you guys continue to travel by the moonlight, but unfortunately it's kind of overcast, so it's pretty dark and murky. Mule stumbles a couple of times. Brother Malleus gets tossed to the ground, and he wakes up with a gasp. You still have 0 hit points, but you're conscious. You can kind of speak, and you can move at a crawl of up to 10 feet per round.
Okay.
You're jarred awake by that as you're hurled to the ground from the mule.
All right. I'll pretend to be unconscious still.
Okay.
Shit, Malleus! I run over and kneel down and put his arm around my shoulders to try to help him up.
I pretend to be out.
Okay. He's dead
All right.
weight.
So Yeah, I'll lift him
Denise,
back up.
Well,
and
this is
throw
going
him,
on. Roll a wisdom for me. You lift him back up and do what?
throw him over the mule.
Okay, toss him back over the mule again. The mule complains. What'd you get on your wisdom roll there, Chepe?
Oh, I thought you were asking Andrew.
No, he's got noise because he's lifting the priest and everything.
Wisdom roll
Not great.
is 18.
Yeah, what's your wisdom?
0, or the modifier is 0, but I got an 18 natural.
No. What's your wisdom score? You need to roll your score or lower.
Oh, score lower? Oh, yeah. No,
It's a
I
roll
didn't make
under
it. It's a 9.
Okay, yeah. No, you don't. So, yes, he gets the thing back up over the, or gets the thing. He gets the Inquisitor. Sorry, Lloyd, back up over the horse's back, and the mule complains. He's struggling to get it to move forward anymore, and after they're almost on you by the time you actually hear the sound of horses' hooves beating on the road behind you. Sounds like several of them.
All right, I'm gonna just try and get the bump of the mule to turn my head in the direction so I can see if they're the knights.
Okay. What about Denise and Clement? What will you guys do?
I just turn and look stupidly at the road.
Okay.
I walk ahead, not paying attention, making sure I'm not on the road, but near the trees, obviously, because I'm going to duck in as soon as I hear people coming. So as soon as I hear them, I'm probably going to try to jump into the forest.
Okay. 5 horses. At the very front is the sister, the nun you saw earlier with the battle axe, and the 4 knights riding along behind her.
All right, I will throw my hands up and shout, "Help! Help me!"
I hide.
Roll a stealth check. Again, roll another stealth skill. Again, we'll look at you with all those ones, man. Dice Stream is broken.
Dice Stream is stupid. I'm not complaining this
disappears in the
time.
trees. Clement, you're standing there with the Inquisitor over the back of the mule, waving his hand and saying, "Help!" Oh wait, your hands were tied, I think. So he's just
Malleus, you're alive? You're all right?
No, I'm not all right. Knights, men of God, help me!
The sister and the 4 knights pull up and stop and dismount to see what's going on.
Help me!
And Boris looks at you, Clement, says, "What's going on here? What has happened to him?"
He took a nasty spill, and I think he just came conscious. Malleus, you're okay? And I run over and start undoing the ropes around his hands.
That's not true. The elf, he attacked me. He nearly killed me.
Oh, Malleus, you're delirious. An elf? Here?
You silent fool.
I think he hit his head.
Knights of God, protect me from this heretic. The elf, he ran into the trees.
Malleus, or sorry, not Malleus, Boris, what did I say his last name was? Can't remember. Boris, anyway. Boris Corsica, that's right. He's checking out the wound. He sees 2 wounds, actually, on Malleus's head. He says, "This is a puncture wound. And this looks like a sword slash if I've ever seen one." He says, "What kind of fall did he take?"
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Mr. Hughes,
I'm a merchant.
Mr. Hughes here is innocent. The elf, he did it.
Where is this elf? And they draw
The
swords.
trees. Where his hideous kind always hide.
"Show yourself, heretic!
Hi.
Come out and face the justice of God."
I stay hidden.
And the sister says, "Sirs, with all due respect, we don't have time for this. We need to get back to the monastery and find out what's going on immediately." Not the monastery, sorry, the orphanage.
If you leave, he will kill me.
Do you have any healing salves, bandages, anything I could heal him with?
We have plenty of things at the orphanage.
The orphanage? I can make it there, I think. Is it down the road?
No, nonsense. If this saboteur lies hiding in the woods somewhere, you wouldn't be safe. You couldn't defend him. You'll ride with us.
That's true, madam. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sir Corsica, you take the injured Inquisitor. You, merchant, you ride with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Your mule won't be able to keep up. We'll have to leave it behind.
Okay. I like
If you have
grab the
anything,
mule
if
behind
you
the
have any
head.
valuables that you need to take with you, transfer it to the knight's horses now.
I start
Yes.
praising God.
And the knights are all kind of standing around, looking in all four directions, weapons drawn, just looking for some kind of demon to come charging out of the woods and attack them. They've got the look of fervor in their eyes. They're a little bit afraid, but they're ready to kill at a moment's notice.
I'll
Alright.
take the bag of spoons.
And the sister comes over and she gives you a hand with them.
The Lord has chosen to protect me. Your appearance is divine.
I put my hand out to grab the bag, and she puts her hand out, and her hand touches my hand, and I smile at her, and I say, "Sister, you have the hands of a healer."
And she slapped her hand away, and she says, "Don't get fresh." And she fingers her battle axe hilt. She says, I've killed men twice your size.
I didn't mean anything by it, sister. I just mean it's rare is all. Rare to see men and women who create instead of destroy.
She says, well, I'm sorry I got defensive. I'm Sister Barbara Carpenter.
Ha, Barbara Carpenter. Carpenter, just like the good man, eh? And I take the bag of spoons.
And she just kind of smiles, chuckles. She says, I'm the go-to for the order of nuns that run the St. Petra Home for Unwanted Children. Brother Malleus, you've heard of St. Petra. St. Petra was a mistaken martyr. You know from church history, she was actually a staunch atheist, but she was seized by some religious-minded folk who thought she belonged to a rival sect. They tortured her for weeks, and they put her to death for refusing to convert to their religion. The enraged followers then of the Christian sect that she was mistakenly associated with then hunted down and slew all of the torturers, and she was sainted for unintentional inspiration.
A true inspiration.
Impressive. It must be difficult business running an orphanage.
She says, so these are the compatriots you spoke of, this injured inquisitor and the demon in the woods?
The demon in the woods. I don't know anything about that, but he and this mule, we've traveled quite a ways together.
Mr. Hughes is a good man.
Well, we haven't time to hunt down your attacker, I'm afraid. Perhaps after this is done, the knights can come back with you and you can do a proper hunt. It wouldn't do to leave that creature out there somewhere. He may be a threat to the orphanage, after all. And she reaches again and strokes the hilt of her battle axe, and she says, although I welcome him to try.
Sister, seems like you have an axe to grind.
She says, well, I wasn't always a sister. I disguised myself as a man and joined the army. Fought for a time until I was discovered. A few of my fellow soldiers tried to punish me. I killed one of them, maimed another, had to flee for my life. I joined the church in order to hide. They would have put me to death, for sure.
Kind of looking her up and down, I say very, very humbly, You were able to masquerade as a man. I just don't believe it.
Says, don't get any ideas, merchant. She says, I'll split you like a dry log.
I believe it, and I hold my spoons tightly and head towards the caravan.
She gets up on her horse. She gets up on her horse and she reaches down to help you up.
Oh yeah, I'll jump up on the back of the horse.
You notice when you do get on the horse, she seems to be wearing chainmail underneath her habit.
I'll lightly put my hands at her hips.
Denise, what will you do as they're riding away?
Follow at a long range pace, just camping at a leisure, a little bit, following leisurely, hiding in the woods, following a good distance behind them. Probably let them just be within eyesight's reach of me.
Okay.
After we ride for like 10 minutes or so, Ian, I'm going to lean close into the sister and say, Sister, I gotta tell you something. We're probably good. We're out of range now. There was another man. An elf. He said if I talked about him, he would kill me.
I'm not surprised. They're monsters after all.
He was in a tree. I bet he had one of those crossbow beads right on you.
Yeah, he didn't take the shot, did he?
No, I guess God's protection was too much for the heathen.
Well,
I'm so
you're
dead.
safe now. You're safe with us. Although, I have to tell you, you will not be able to stay in the orphanage tonight. Men are not allowed, you understand. Once your business is done, once the night's business is done, you will all have to leave.
That of course is acceptable.
We will let you in long enough for a meal, something to drink, some attention for your injured friend, but then you'll be on your own.
That is extraordinarily gracious. You are a very gracious woman, and I'm going to tighten my grip on her hips just a little.
What a creep. Okay. Boris is talking to you, Inquisitor. I only keep saying I haven't memorized his name's Brother Malleus. He says, so, traveling with an elf didn't work out for you, did it?
No, I have learned my lesson. We
What
belong
is this?
to a sacred order. We were clearly instructed not to pursue my usual intentions when it comes to heretics.
What order
Clearly.
is this?
It is a secret order, brother.
Sounds like a heretical order if you ask me. If they ask you to forego your duties.
Sir Corsica, you are clearly a man of God, and so I'll let it slide.
You're beaten within an inch of your life, riding at my mercy at the back of my horse, and you will let me slide? You got some cheek on you, lad.
I did not become an inquisitor by letting things slide. No man is exempt from the laws of God, be he a powerful knight or a lowly beggar.
Ah, yes. Spoken like the true zealot that I'm sure you are. Good. You're going to need that resolve. I fear we must be facing some kind of witchcraft at this orphanage. We may require your help.
Exorcising demons is my specialty, my son.
Perhaps you can tell me. When we arrived at the incontinent vicar, we found a smoldering ruin.
What?
You don't know anything about it, do you, Inquisitor?
What?
They say that fire cleanses, after all.
They say fire purges, brother.
Sorry, my Inquisitor days are long behind me. He chuckles. I'm a fighting man.
Yes. Perhaps leave the judgment to me, Brother Corsica.
Sorry, Andrew. That's funny. So, the inn was fine when you passed it, you say?
Yes, we had some very jovial drinks with Duncan, or Dinquo, whatever his name was.
I know not who you speak of.
The innkeeper, he's a very jovial man. He makes some really excellent beer.
Yes, we would have liked to have parched our thirst with some. I do not know. We will have to sleep in the wild tonight.
Well, that's a shame. I would like to go back and consecrate the place.
The sisters will not let men sleep within the orphanage, you understand?
Well, that's only proper.
We took 20 orphans there. In the afternoon. They swear that they found 21. Where could an extra child have popped up from? They're only toddlers, infants, babies.
This is interesting, Brother Corsica, because we have recently encountered something a little bit unnerving.
What is that?
We have found in certain places in the dark roads duplicates of people.
Duplicates?
Quite so. Exactly as the original. They look, they smell, they sound exactly as the original person, and yet they are not. They are filled with evil and malice. And then he mutters under his breath, Maleficarum.
Sounds like devilry.
It is certainly devilry.
Perhaps the same thing is afoot at the orphanage.
We must make haste.
Okay. We'll fast forward then. You guys have probably a couple of hours worth of riding. It's well dark. Dangerous enough, too, but you guys make it without any severe injury to any of the horses. Clement only gets slapped a few times by the nun as his hand on her hips. The third time, she says, "One more time, Mr. Hughes, and you'll be walking." And she gives you an elbow in the ribs, knocks the wind out of you. With her mailed elbow.
I'm sorry, sister. I just don't want to fall off the horse.
I've heard it all before. If I say a word to that Inquisitor friend of yours, or perhaps to Sir Corsica, what do you think they would do?
No telling. The Inquisitor Malleus, he is a man of God in the fire sense. He would probably burn me alive.
Yes. His type are very dangerous, but a necessary evil sometimes.
The same could be said about a merchant.
She laughs. You guys pull up to the orphanage, and it's a pretty foreboding-looking building. It's actually, you have to go off the main road for a few minutes on the horses to get to it. All of the ground floor windows are filled with bricks, and the doors are gated. You can tell basically by looking at that they not only keep children here, but they keep children here as well.
So I'll take notice. I'll take notice of the bars, and I'll say to the good sister, "Those are thick bars. This is a secure building."
We are but nuns and children here. We must have our defenses.
Defenses, yes, but those almost look like they're meant to keep people in.
Looks can be deceiving, merchant. She smiles.
My bad.
Thunder peals in the distance, and you see lightning off in the background, backlighting behind the orphanage.
I meant nothing by it, of course, madam. I'm sure your motivations are but the purest. It must be my eyes. All those long nights stitching and hemming dresses by candlelight has taken a toll.
We have 138 children here, Mr. Hughes. We divide them by sex and age category. There are, I should say how many of them there are. I think I'll just make up a number then. There are 12 of us who look after them, ranging from the ages of 25 to 64. Sister Magda, she is our leader. We care for and educate the children here. Older children help with the upkeep of the home and work the gardens during the day. When male children reach the age of 14, they are sent away to fend for themselves, unless they are adopted before then, found by families looking to raise a child who cannot perhaps have one through the natural order.
As is right, I suppose. But what about the young ladies? Are they put down the path of nunnery?
Most do join the church, yes. Even most of the boys join the church once they leave.
Ah, yes. Praise God. This is a great institution you have there, my lady.
You can hear all this too, Brother Malleus. You don't have to be left out of the conversation, just so you know.
Sure. I wanted to pretty much say to Brother Corsica as we're approaching, and when I see these bars, I'd say to him, these are some very sturdy bars. Have you noticed how thick they are?
Yes, well, they wouldn't do to have any of the children escaping in the middle of the night, would it?
Escaping? They are but children.
They're unwanted children.
Quite so. It looks almost as if
they are the
they're there
detritus of our civilization. Cast aside or abandoned, sometimes willingly, other times through tragedy.
It does seem a little ominous, though.
What do you think are the chances of any of those children growing up to be a productive member of a Christian society? If left to their own devices, most of them would turn into criminals or worse.
This is true.
They would find other religions. The sisters do good work here.
The sisters definitely do. They do incredible work here, and it's very important that they do so. But these bars, it's a little bit unnerving. Almost like they're trying to keep the children in.
Yeah.
Well, come, onwards. Yeah, that's definitely what it should be. He says other religions, and then they're...
And you see the elf off in the distance looking out over the...
Yeah.
You can see the lights of the orphanage in the distance.
And he's whispering Siraz to himself. Yep, he's reading Siraz to himself instead of reciting them. And yes, he does a bit of a whirl too for Andrew.
Sister Carpenter stops you guys at the gate before you go in. And she says, Sir Boris and the knights, they may keep their weapons, given their order. The rest of you have to leave your weapons and armor outside. Please discard them here.
Of course, madam.
I haven't got any weapons or arms.
Oh, you don't? Denise has your weapons, doesn't he?
Yep.
Do you have any armor?
Yeah, I do. I have leather armor.
Yeah, you'll have to take that off.
Okay, sure. I have nothing on underneath it, though. I've just got trousers.
Okay, well, you're going to be wearing your trousers.
Okay.
But yeah, you lost your hair shirt in the fire, didn't you?
Yep. All right, well then I'll take it off, and there's a scarred body covered in scripture underneath.
What about you, Clement? Did you have any armor?
I flop open my doublet and I go, and I pull out a dagger and I lay it down and I pat it and I go, and reach underneath my coat and I pull out a handful of darts and I set those down now. I go down to my leg and I pull out a garrote wire and I set that down. I go, there. All set.
The garrote wire gets a raised eyebrow from Sister Carpenter.
Oh,
What kind of merchant are you?
do not get me wrong, madam. I use it to size trousers.
She looks at Sir Boris and says, "Keep an eye on that one. There's some. He's not as he appears." She says, "Come, welcome to the what do I call it? The Sister. Was it the St. Petra Home for Unwanted Children?" And the gate opens with a big creak. Hasn't been oiled in a long time. Thunder and lightning again. And you walk into this old, basically a mansion. Sir Boris says, "I must see the nursery at once." She says, "Very good." She says, "I'll take you there. One of the sisters will have the papers."
I will accompany you, Sir Boris. And I won't wait for an answer. I'll just follow him.
Just with Sir Boris, yeah?
Sure. I mean, if Clemens wants to come too, that's fine.
Yeah, Clemens will follow.
He says
Aren't you
to...
just, like, barely walking at this point?
Yeah, he
Oh,
can't
yeah,
really
yeah.
walk. He has to be careful. Actually, yeah, you're going to be taken for medical attention.
Unacceptable.
Those wounds need to be seen to. You
My
need
health
to
can
recover.
wait.
Malleus.
Demons abide. And I said
Sister
it
Malleus.
Carpenter
again.
Sister Carpenter says, "You will not be dying in my home. This is non-negotiable." And she takes you by the arm and starts leading you towards the infirmary.
Sister, there are demons! I start screaming about demons as I'm dragged down the hall.
If there are demons, they will be here in an hour after the death.
Maleficarum! Maleficarum!
She's quite strong.
She's definitely stronger than me, yeah.
What do you
Screaming the whole way, like,
What do
no!
you want to do, Clement?
I'm going to follow the sister and Malleus and make sure that they tend to his wounds properly.
Okay. Right. So yeah, take you in. The doctor checks him out and starts applying poultices and bandages and does various pokes and prods and things that actually kind of hurt and sting and sanitize and everything else. The whole thing takes maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, not even.
While he's performing the surgery or performing the medication, I'm going to speak to she.
It's a she.
So that's a nurse doctor. Okay.
Another nun. Yeah, it's another nun. They're all nuns.
Is she dressed like a nun, or is she wearing a different clothing?
No, she's still dressed much like a nun. Yeah, she's still wearing the habit. She wears a white apron as well.
So I will, while she's patching him up, I'll say, "Miss, that is a handsome apron. Where did you get that?"
She says it was given to me by the order. Property of the house, I'm sure.
Where does the order fulfill their orders to get such high quality merchandise?
I do not know. You'd have to ask Sister Magda.
That is a good idea. You see, I'm a tailor, and I cascade my fingers, and you see like a little tool in my hands. I make such parcels of clothing for a living.
That's very interesting. You should tell Sister Magda all about it. And she continues working on Brother Malleus.
But madam, if all goes well, next time you perform such a surgery or mission of mercy, you may be wearing my apron. And I turn around and will walk away to go have a talk with Sister Magda.
Okay. You walk out into the hall, and you can hear quite a bit of hustle bustle, a lot of shouting. And you see a couple of sisters running towards you, including Sister Carpenter. And she says, "Quick! Where's the Inquisitor? You must come, quickly. Sir Boris, he's gone mad. He's trying to kill the children."
Oh my!
My God. And I'll look at this stupid nurse who's holding me, and I told you it was Maleficarum!
Show us the way, quickly, quickly, Barbara.
So down the way. Oh, you grab Brother Malleus from the infirmary.
I do, yes.
Okay, you're at 1 hit point, Lloyd.
Okay, cool.
So he's at 1 hit point. He's kind of coming along behind you. Again, you guys have no armor or weapons, but takes you down. You can see several of the sisters holding Sir Boris down. He has his sword in his hand,
How
and
did
he's
he get rid of
shouting.
the sword?
Huh?
Did he not? Did the knights not give their weapons? No.
No, they were allowed because of their order.
Okay.
They were allowed to come in full gear. You guys were
Gotcha.
not. And you hear a shout come down from one of the halls. The knights are coming. They've heard the ruckus. And Sister Carpenter says, do not let them down. Do not let them reach him. And you hear steel drawn, and you hear shouting and screaming coming from down the hall. You guys are in the nursery. There are a bunch of babies and infants, toddlers, etc., around the room. Some of them screaming and crying. Sir Boris is fighting with several of the nuns, trying to get loose as they're trying to hold him down. They've just basically piled up on top of him and trying to hold him down.
All right, I'll walk in and shout, Sir Boris, what are you doing?
He says, we must kill all the children. We cannot know which one it is.
Nonsense.
They
Think.
burned the papers, Malleus. They burned the papers. They're
What
in on it.
papers?
And you can see his eyes are going mad. And Sister Carpenter says, one of the sisters, when Sir Boris started shouting about killing one of the children, one of the sisters burned the registration papers so that they wouldn't be able to tell which one was the unidentified child.
Well, that's
Oh.
unacceptable.
Like,
All
I
right.
see my vision dither dissolves, and I see a flashback to the encounter our vicar, and I see Doodles running and Nicole running, and I see Malleus on the horse hunting them down and killing them. I see the bodies. I see the burning bar, the burning tavern and inn. And I just whisper to Malleus, not again, Malleus. No, don't. There has to be another way.
You'll leave no trace of Maleficarum in this world.
Sir Boris, I keep getting it mixed up. Too many religious people about. Sir Boris says, you know what has to be done, Inquisitor. You know what has to be done.
I will turn to the nun and I will say, which way are the knights coming? I'll help you block the door.
This way.
Okay, so I'll run to that door, and then if I can see the knights coming, I'll try and push the nuns away from it.
Yeah,
To
you
let
can
them
see
in.
the few knights coming down. They have their weapons drawn. They're pushing the sisters out of the way because they hear Boris shouting and screaming, and they know something's
Quickly,
gone wrong.
brothers! Quickly!
Sister Carpenter says, she draws her battle axe and says, Inquisitor, you've tricked me.
You shelter some sort of evil here.
They're children.
Yes, then why burn the records?
I didn't do it. It was Sister Carrie.
Something is wrong here.
Sister Carrie is standing there. She's got kind of like strawberry blonde hair, and she's kind of crying. I wanted to protect the children. He was going to kill one of them. It's not fair. Just because these stupid knights lost the papers to one of the children doesn't mean one of them should die.
You idiot! So now they all die? And I just lash out in rage.
She just cries even harder. Sister Carpenter looks at you and says, shut up, Mr. Hughes.
Sir Boris, is that true? Did you lose one of the records for one of the children?
Boris he's tired out now because he's been fighting with them for several minutes, and there's like 6 of them holding him down. He says, no, we only brought 20, I swear.
Are you
I
certain?
swear by the book.
That's all I need to hear. Where are the other knights?
Well, they're standing up right behind you now
Okay.
with their swords drawn, looking at Sister Carpenter, who's standing there breathing heavily. You can see the glint of mail. Her habit's gotten kind of torn in the scuffle. You can see she's wearing mail, and she's got the battle axe in her hand. And she says, well, this is how it's going to be.
I will turn to the knights and I will say, in the name of the Lord, it is with a heavy heart that I condemn this place to exterminatus.
Heavy heart, my ass.
Do I see this? Do I see this on the outside, like the knights rushing in, all the commotion?
From outside, no, because all the windows are bricked, remember?
Okay. Do I hear anything?
Probably not, because it's pretty tightly sealed. You just hear the approaching thunderstorm. Actually, it's probably starting to rain again. The thunder and lightning are growing closer.
To take some of my wood, I try to make a makeshift shelter out in the forest and sleep on the edge of it. Not in a ditch. I'm trying to get up near a hill. Actually, no. Being an elf, let's sleep in a tree. It's the first time I've ever slept in a tree. Might as well try it. It's probably not as good as a dune, but I'll lean back in the trees and try to sleep.
You've heard, fairy tales about elves sleeping in trees when you were growing up in the desert.
So I'll turn to this sister and I'll say, you know that this is not an easy thing for me to declare, but there is some sort of maleficarum here. Some kind of demon lurks in this place. We've encountered others like them, shape changers that copy the likeness of others, cannot be allowed to live here, cannot be allowed to live anywhere. The knights, the brothers, are just doing their duty, as am I, and as should you, sister.
Look at the children. See for yourself if you can tell which one is the demon.
I cannot.
If one of them is a demon.
God
How do you
will
even know? How do you even know that one of them is? How do you not know that they're not all innocent children?
It is better to burn this entire place in the hopes of killing one demon than to leave one demon rotting, living in this world. God will know his faithful when they appear to him.
Listen to yourself. You speak of demons. These are children. What evidence do you have that there are any demons here?
Evidence? I have
One
faith.
child with missing papers equals a demon?
This is why you are not an inquisitor.
This is why you are a dangerous zealot, and I will put you down if I have to. And she brandishes the axe.
Threatening.
Keep in mind, just to remind you, she doesn't know anything about your experiences before this.
Yeah.
To her, she's got 21 kids, had 20 sets of papers. This crazy knight now wants to kill all the children because they lost the papers to one of the children, supposedly.
Sister, very recently we encountered creatures that took the shape of others. Duplicates, exact duplicates. We saw two people standing next to each other, both looking exactly the same when there had not been twins before. One tried to kill the other. There is some sort of changeling epidemic spreading throughout this part of the world. This is why we are concerned. Demons reign in this part of the world. And Brother Corsica is doing everything he can to uphold his duty, to destroy evil.
She eyes you suspiciously, and she kind of briefly glances over her shoulder to where Hughes, I presume you're still in the area.
Yeah, when I see her glance, I'll
Is
stand
this
down
true,
and I'll
Mr.
say,
Hughes?
it is true, and the Inquisitor's answer was fire.
Fire?
Yes,
It was
the
you.
vicar was burnt to the ground.
You burned the inn.
Not me, the
No, she's
Inquisitor.
looking at the Inquisitor. Sorry, I can't convey that over Google
That
Hands.
does not-
She looks at the Inquisitor and says, you burned the inn.
What I do in pursuit of my duty is not your concern, sister.
The knights look to you and they say, is it true? Did you burn the vicar?
It is true. I had to be sure that you were.
Inside.
I had to be sure that you were a true man of God before I revealed this to you.
They look offended at that as they're wearing their order medical, armor and shit.
I mean no offense, but there are many who masquerade as servants of God.
She looks at the knights. She looks over at Brother Boris. Sorry, Sir Boris, who's just like he's out of breath now. He's just gone weak because the nuns have sat on him long enough that he's used all of his strength trying to get away from them. He's dropped his sword and they've taken it away from him. She said, like a lot of the sisters start chattering amongst themselves. She says, "Wait here," and she goes into the nursery and closes the door and locks it. You can see through the window. There is a window at the door that they're talking amongst themselves privately. Brother Boris, eventually they get up off of him. And since Sister Carpenter's in there with her battle axe and he doesn't have his sword, he's at the moment seems to be kind of restraining himself because he doesn't want to taste that axe.
While they're gone and Malleus is standing there, I'm going to walk over to Malleus and say, "Malleus, don't forget, we have another problem. That Saracen is about."
Very true. I believe that we are safe in here for now. Or I would rather deal with a demon than an elf. A heretic at that.
At that, I'm writing a note on a piece of parchment and attaching it to an arrow.
Okay. After a few minutes, the door unlocks and Sister Carpenter comes out. And the other nuns walk out behind her and they close the door behind them, leaving all the infants and toddlers mewling in the room. And they walk off kind of with their heads hung low. And Sister Carpenter looks at you, Inquisitor, and Sir Boris steps out as well, alongside her. And she says, "Well, seems I owe you an apology, Inquisitor. Sir Boris, I'm sorry for the way we treated you. We cannot allow an inhuman thing to live. So even if it means the deaths of a handful of innocent children, 'tis better to sacrifice the few to save the many."
God will know his own when they appear before him.
What? This is outrageous!
The children cannot leave that room. We will wait 24 hours to see if any other solution comes up. After 24 hours, tomorrow night, if no other solution has arrived, we will smother the children one by one.
I fire an arrow over the fence bars so that hopefully it will land in the ground and stick in with the note attached to it.
I'll say to the sister, if you look now, are there any twins among them?
See for yourself. She takes the key and unlocks the door. Gestures for you to walk in with her.
I am unarmed. I will not face a demon unarmed.
Then look through the window, and she relocks the door.
Keep that door locked at any cost.
She puts the key underneath her habit.
All right, I'll look through the window.
You don't see. It takes you a good few minutes looking, because the kids, they're all over the place. But you don't see any exact duplicates. You have 21. After it takes you a good 5 minutes of looking around, you have 21 unique children in there.
And only 20 were accounted for. So one of them has appeared from somewhere.
I will have to ask you men to camp outside. You cannot sleep within the walls of the orphanage. It's against the rules, and God would frown upon it. You understand.
But of course.
This door will remain locked.
There are some issues, of course. What if we come back here in the morning and the children are gone? What if you have spirited them away in the hopes of saving them?
I will let you post a guard, but the guard must remain awake, and I will have to have a sister tend as well to make sure that nothing improper occurs.
Sir Corsica, do you have any men who would be willing to stand guard?
Malleus. Let me
Sorry.
stand guard.
I think we should have 2 people on guard, perhaps one of mine and one of yours.
Hmm.
We can do 2 guard posts. That way everyone gets some sleep tonight.
Very well. Yes, Mr. Hughes, keep close watch.
You're
Yes,
going to
I
take
will.
the first watch, Clement?
I will, yes.
Very well. Sir Isaiah will stand guard with you.
Okay.
After a few hours, Brother Malleus and myself will relieve you.
Right,
Brother
so
Malleus, let's
I'll
go
definitely-
get some sleep.
Yeah.
So, you guys, everybody goes outside except for Sir Isaiah and Mr. Hughes, who stay near the door to keep an eye on the children. Another sister, rather homely sister, stays to kind of keep an eye on the guards, as it were. When you go outside, you find an arrow in the ground with a note attached to it that says something, I'm sure. What it is, I don't know. Chepe, do you want to say what it says? You wrote it.
Right. Well, the note they found was this. The order has been given. Have you managed to burn down the orphanage like the inn? Remember not to fail to sabotage the children. Godspeed, dear Inquisitor. Nothing signed.
So do I pick up the note, yeah?
Sure.
Am I the one who saw it? Okay, I will look at it. I will look out of the orphanage up into the hills, see if I can see a glitter of an elven eye out there somewhere.
Sir Boris steps up beside you and says, "What is it?"
It is nothing. I'll crunch it up in my hand.
Seems to have bothered
I
you
have
an awful
another
lot
note
for nothing.
prepared, and I fire it.
Okay. Fire it where?
It's probably going to be a few yards away. I was proportionally doing it on other sides.
Okay. So it hits the ground.
Mhm.
I didn't know if you were shooting at the Inquisitor again. You're pretty far away. But another one
You
hits the
shoot it
ground.
randomly to get inside. The note says the same thing.
Boris draws a sword.
If you'll allow me,
The note says the same
Corsica.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pick it up. I'll say, Sir Corsica, can you smell that?
Do you show him the note?
I'm asking him if he can smell something.
He says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I had bean stew for dinner."
Yes. God has love for even the simplest of servants. Sir Corsica, the smell I'm referring to is the stench of an elf.
No, I don't smell it. I'm sorry. I don't have the trained senses that you do for heresy.
It is around the orphanage. It is firing messages in an attempt to sow discord amongst our ranks.
Do you show him the 2 messages?
I do.
They're identical. Perhaps your elf is the original demon.
I'm afraid that would be far too easy a solution, my brother. The elf was there when we dealt with the other demons. He is not a demon, simply a heretic and an abomination.
You see the other 2 knights that came out with him. They're setting up poles and canvas and making basically a tent to shelter from the storm. He says, "We should sleep within the canvas. It should protect us from more arrows."
I'll lead the men in a prayer before we go to sleep.
Okay. And you do. And you sleep for a few hours.
How does it
Denise?
work with getting
Anything
health
else?
back?
Oh. You're not going to get any more health back.
Really?
Not,
Okay.
not this first night. No, not only after a few hours sleep. I think if you get a night's sleep, you get a hit point back.
Jesus.
Once you get up to 50% of your hit points, then I think you can regain a D3, or is it when you're below 50%, you get a D3? I have to look it up.
Okay,
Sure.
well, if I get a night's sleep, I'll wake up and cast Cure Wounds on myself.
You're not going to get a full night's sleep anyway. You're only going to get a few hours of sleep. Wait, well, what time is it, actually? Could you get 6 hours of sleep? If we say, no, it's got to be at least 10 o'clock. That'd be 4 o'clock in the morning. No, the watches aren't going to be that long.
Denise
You're
is
not
going to
gonna get
hike
enough sleep
around
for that.
and do the same note on the other side, near where the nuns go in and out.
Okay.
Then he's going to try to get an hour or two of sleep at least.
Yeah, damaged characters who have at least half of their hit points remaining can recover an additional 1d3 points by resting a full day. Otherwise, you regain 1 hit point after a peaceful night's rest. If you have less than half of your hit points remaining, you recover nothing from a night's rest and only recover 1 hit point by resting a full day. So yeah. So after a few hours anyway, Sir Boris wakes you up, Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Brother Malleus, come, it's our time to relieve the men for watch.
Oh, actually, I wanted to do something while I was on watch, Ian.
Sorry.
Is it Sir Isaiah that I'm with?
Mm-hmm. It is. He's
So-
a young knight. Looks like he's probably about 20.
Okay, so young pup. So while we're underway with the watch, I'm going to come over to Isaiah and kick up some small talk with him. I'm gonna be like, Isaiah, you seem like a beacon of the ideal worshiper of God, a faithful servant.
He kind of chuffs a bit. Says, well, I suppose I am, yes.
What if I were to tell you you could save 20 children's lives and kill only the shapeshifter?
What? How?
Have faith in God. Have unwavering faith and look through that window at those children and study their faces and remember. Remember transporting them. Remember delivering the children.
Mm-hmm.
Find the alien face. 21 children, no twins, 21 unique kids. One of them was not there. God says to be ever vigilant. Prove your vigilance now and locate the foreign child.
He looks in. He says, I'd have to get a closer look. Can you open this door? And you see the nun looking at you guys as you're kind of whispering. She says, what's going on?
Yes, I could open the door if you can dispatch of her. Do it quickly, though. Don't kill her. Don't kill her. Just knock her out.
She's a woman. I can't raise a hand against her.
Your God will ask you to do many things you did not know you could do, child.
Roll a charisma check.
All right. My charisma is... it's bad. Okay. Come on. Low. Nope, I failed it.
I don't know.
Well, what if I subdued her?
And then we just go in there and find the child who's out of place and kill it?
Yeah, I'll open the lock. And we'll just see. We'll just see if you can identify a child. We'll just try.
I'll get Sir Boris. He must know of this. I can't act without his knowledge. He'll be furious. It's his job anyway. He'll be upset if we solve the problem for him.
I know, but you know what they say. Pride cometh before the fall, Isaiah. Pride cometh before the fall.
Well, yeah, I guess, maybe.
This might be our only opportunity. All that stands between us and saving the lives of 20 orphans is one woman.
Hey, what are you guys whispering about over there? What's going on? And the nun starts walking over.
I think something's wrong with Sir Isaiah.
What? And she rushes over.
The moment she crosses my path and goes in for him, I'm going to lift up my arms and try to come down with both of them like this. Hammer on the back of her head.
Oh, yeah, the Captain Kirk karate chop.
Yup.
Double fist shot
Starfleet
in
martial
the back.
arts.
Yeah, all right. Roll an attack roll. Her armor class is shit.
Critical failure.
Oh, shit. Roll a d30. Do you have one?
No, I don't.
All right, I'll roll for you then. Let's see what that means. I rolled a 10. The next attack by this foe against you automatically hits. Okay, you try and miss horribly, and she staggers aside and she slaps you in the face.
Ah!
Doing 1 point of damage. And she screams, "Help! Sisters! Attack!"
I try to cold cock her.
Okay, roll to hit.
Critical failure.
You roll another one. I'm telling you, this dice stream shit is broken. All right, this time I got a 23.
Oh god, we can't take on a single nun.
Your fellow PCs may take some, all, or none of the experience points that you earn this session as they wish. Remember that, guys. You get to take some of Andrew's experience if you want to at the end of the session.
Okay.
Okay, so you miss
we get
again, and she goes to punch you, and she misses horribly. Brother
Sir
Isaiah's like,
Isaiah! Help me! Help me!
oh my god, and he runs away. Sir Boris! Sir Boris! Sir Boris!
Damn it, young whelp, you fool! And then I try to do the Starfleet uppercut with the palm underneath her.
You hear people, you hear feet shuffling up above and upstairs. Yeah, go ahead and roll to hit.
There's got to be something wrong with it. It rolled another one.
Oh wow,
I'm telling you, man, there's something wrong with Dice Stream.
that is nuts.
But then it rolled an 18 on the second one, so I think that's legit.
There's
In
a
an
one-
in-person game last week, somebody rolled 4 ones in a row.
There's a 1 in 8,000 chance of rolling the same number 3 times in a row on a D20. But
Yeah, I know it's really bad.
so you had another
That
one.
occurs quite often in Dice Stream. Just saying.
So your last one, the foe you're attacking can automatically hit you every attack with no attack roll necessary for the rest of this combat. So she hits you again, take another point of damage. And she's like fucking slapping the shit out of you as you're trying your Starfleet martial arts maneuvers and missing horribly.
So just like in the
She's
show.
screaming for help, and you hear somebody running down the hall.
All right.
So retcon what I said to you earlier, Lloyd. Instead, you're awakened a couple of hours later by Sir Bor saying, "Brother Malleus, something's afoot. Come, quick!"
Of course, so I'll rush.
Mm-hmm.
I'll rush in that direction for sure.
Sister Carpenter is coming down the hall, but you can get another attack in on this nun if you want,
All right.
Mr. Hughes. You got an 18 on that one, so that'll be a hit, right?
Yeah, so I take both of my hands like this in a fist, and I club her right in the gut.
Okay. She goes down. She doesn't have much hit points.
And
Oh, and she collapses to the ground.
I start yelling, Maleficarum! Maleficarum!
And Sister Carpenter comes up with her battle axe in her hand, and she says, "Mr. Hughes, how do you excuse this behavior, striking a sister of the Order of St. Petra?"
I point at her and I say, she turned into a monster and attacked Isaiah. He ran to get the other guards.
And she says, "Get down on the ground.
I go down to my knees.
Put your hands behind your head.
I do
Bend
it.
over."
You lost me, sister.
And she cocks you up the side of the head with the battle axe. The flat of the blade, though. And it does... Oh, plus... What's her strength? I think she actually has a strength bonus. But I need to just double check. Where is she? Here she is. Yeah, she does 6 points of damage to as she blunts the axe up the side of your head.
Ooh, that knocks me out unconscious.
So she brains you, basically. That doesn't kill you, but she knocks you unconscious. It was meant to be a non-lethal blow.
Boom.
You go down. And Sir Boris and Brother Malleus come charging down the hall.
What is the meaning of this? Why have you laid hands on my man?
And she points at her nun on the ground who's like out of breath and gasping for air. She says, he struck one of the sisters. How do you explain this, Brother Malleus?
He would not have done so unless there was good reason to.
Really?
Yes. Are you questioning me?
Perhaps.
And I lean out from behind the knight when I say that. I'm like, are you questioning me?
And Isaiah comes up behind and says, "We were gonna sort out the demon ourselves. He said that I could recognize which one wasn't with us when we first delivered them, and I believed him. But he said he had to subdue the sister first so that he could open the door for me. It was we meant no harm. It was for the betterment of everybody. We thought we could save the children."
Well, that is a good idea. That's a pretty damning accusation you're making there, Brother Isaiah.
Are you calling me a liar?
I am not. I'm simply asking you to be sure that that's what happened.
I swear, on the book.
Very good. Sister, please open the door. Allow the knights to go in and check which child was not there when they picked them up.
And how can you be sure that they will know? Boris says, I will know. Inquisitor, you should accompany me.
I will.
You know these demons. Sister, give him your axe. She looks. She says, I don't know about this.
Do what the man says, sister.
He says, think, sister, you could save 20 children. She hands Malleus the axe.
All right, do it.
Okay. Denise,
Yes.
while you're sitting in your tree, you see a glint of something reflecting the moonlight as the moon peeks out behind the storm clouds. Something in a pile of bushes, it looks like. About 20 yards from your position. It reflects the light right up into your eyes. As he sees this, the sister hands the axe to Malleus and she unlocks the door and opens the door. Boris strides in.
All right.
Brother,
So
shall we kill a demon?
we need to be certain.
Sister, lock the door behind us. Cannot let anything leave this room if you're not sure that it is one of us. She nods. Malleus walks in. She closes the door and locks it behind him. She looks over at one of the other nuns who's there and she says, fetch Sister Clara. This man needs medical attention. And she gestures to the merchant on the ground, bleeding from his head wound.
All right.
I
So
did not mean to hit him so hard.
once we get in there, I will start praying loudly. I don't actually know any prayers, but
Yeah,
one,
okay. No, but
one
you
of
start saying some Inquisitor prayers.
right, yeah, one's about hellfire and purging and stuff.
Book of Revelation shit.
Yes, definitely Revelation stuff for sure.
Okay. Denise, you see that glint of, reflection, light off of metal. You investigate it, see what it is.
Of course, my elf ears are pricked.
It's a sword and mail, and it's being worn by a man who you find in the bushes, dead, his throat slit. You see the tabard that he wears has the symbol of the order medical.
Take the sword,
Okay.
rip
Take a
the
close,
armor off.
take a close look at his face.
hmm
Seems to be Sir Boris Corsica.
I position myself toward the front entrance. I'm not going to be close. I'm going to still be in the tree line. I stake out the side. Basically, I take the armor and the body, and I plant it in front of the orphanage itself. And then I hide in a tree, and I wait.
Excellent. Brother Malleus, as you're saying your prayers and Boris is looking around the room, he turns to you with a strange glint in his eyes, and he leaps towards you and grabs you by the shoulders. And there's a bright flash. It's very confusing. Anybody who happens to be peeking in through the window, well, wouldn't be any of the player characters anyway, will even be blinded by this flash. It's very disorienting. And all of a sudden, you're standing there looking at yourself. Please roll initiative.
Okay. That's
And what's
7.
your initiative modifier?
Plus 2? Yeah.
You are also on 7. So, you go simultaneously.
Okay. So I have an axe.
You do, and so do you.
Right. Okay.
It's an exact copy of you. Same clothing, same armaments, same scars, everything.
Pretty sure I can't take myself in a fight.
Well, I'm pretty certain you probably have less health than yourself.
Yeah. Okay, well, what I want to do is I want
It has
to...
the same wounds, the same scars, everything.
Okay. So I'll lift the kind of like brandish the axe to get me to look at the axe that I'm holding, and then I want to try and knee it in the junk.
Okay, roll to hit.
That's an 18.
You knee it in the junk. Unarmed
Alright.
damage is what? I think it's 1, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping for an effect though, right? That it's like that was my intention. Otherwise, I would have hit it with the axe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'll say it does. Well, it would still do. Okay, so you're not trying to do damage. You're just trying to stun it because actually it only has 1 hit point, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I am trying to kill it, but I thought that it had more health, so I was trying to like kind of
Nope.
put it off balance so I could
You
flash
knee it
it.
in the junk, and it goes down, ooh, and drops its axe and hits
Kneed
the
the
ground.
junk to death. Does it change shape when it goes to the ground?
No,
No. Okay.
it's you.
All right. I will. Um,
And you hear a scream at the door,
I will tell the children to look away.
and you hear loud noises as things are being piled up against the door.
That's fine. Children, look away. This is not for your innocent eyes.
Okay. Denise, you see the front door is open, and nuns and children start pouring out.
What's their reaction to the dead body?
Some of them scream, but they just keep moving. The nuns are directing, keep going, go, get away, come on, move. One of them, you see Sister Carpenter carries Clement Hughes out. What do you do then when the children look? Well, some of them look away. Some of them, they're toddlers and infants. Some of them don't even understand what you're saying.
I'm just trying to see if I see a djinn.
Sorry, Brother Malleus.
What? I'm in the... Oh, when the children look away.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
All right, well, I give them warning. I will then begin to hack at the head of the thing that was me, and then hack at the chest and remove the heart. It's bloody work,
Okay.
but it has to be done. And I will be praying and sanctifying the thing while I do so.
Excellent. Okay. Yep. You pull out a big bloody heart. Some of the kids are screaming. One of the kids is playing in the splashed blood and gore.
Really?
He looks like he's about 9 months old. He's crawling around and playing with it. And, yeah. Doesn't know what it is.
He's not like 10 and enjoying it.
No. Like I said, the oldest child in this room is maybe 2.
Okay. All right.
They're all toddlers, infants.
Okay.
You smell smoke.
Wow. Okay. That's fantastic. I will pick up both of the axes and begin to hack at the door.
Okay.
Actually, no, screw that. I will try and smash the window that people were looking through.
Okay, yeah, you smash the window. It's a small bit of a window, but you can see beyond the window, like something heavy has been pushed up against it.
I can't get through the window?
No, you can't get through the window. There's something heavy pushed up in front of it anyway. They've barricaded you in here.
Okay. I'll try and chop down the door.
And the smoke starts to pour in through the window. It's getting thicker, and now you can see flames licking in through the window.
All right. I will begin to pick up children and put them through the window, hoping that they can get out.
But they can't. It's blocked. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said the door was locked.
No, the door was locked, and then they pushed up whatever they could, bookcases, whatever, up against the door, and then they set it on fire.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try and hack my way out.
Okay. You start hacking. Denise, you don't see, well, I don't know, you don't see anything that you would recognize as a djinn. You see a bunch of nuns, and a bunch of children being rushed out. There's a bunch of crying and screaming and lamentations and wailing going on. Eventually...
Are they lamenting near the flames?
Yes, they are. There's smoke pouring out. You can see that there's a fire lit inside.
I'm waiting around. Which way are they heading? Are they heading toward me near the tree line, or are they heading down the road?
No, they're just kind of gathering out in the yard outside of the orphanage.
Oh yeah, well then I'm just going to wait behind them and look at their expressions.
Think of it like a medieval fire drill, except this is no drill.
Well, he's just going to look and observe for their faces, keeping both of his crossbows loaded and ready.
Sure. I need you to make a paralyzed save, please, Brother Malleus.
A paralyzed save?
Yes. Roll
What
a
even?
d20
Okay.
to see if you can overcome the choking smoke to actually continue out, or if you're overcome by it and if you collapse.
Okay. No problem. But I just need to know which one is paralyzed of the numbers. There's like 6 saves. Or sorry, 5 saves. Which
It's
which
the one
one's
that says paralyze.
Right, I just have the numbers. I have 14, 11, 16, 12, 15.
Why? You don't
It's
have
the first one.
The first one. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know either. So.
That's all good. So I just roll d20 and roll under. Is that what I'm trying to do?
I believe you want to roll over, in fact, for a saving throw. Yes, you do.
Well, nailed it.
Okay. You smash through, and the flames are licking about at you, and the smoke is thick and heavy, but you can just push through.
Okay, do I know vaguely how far I am from the door to outside?
You think you remember.
Okay. I'll pick up some kids and run for the door.
You grab a couple kids.
Yep, and then I'll run back and get the rest.
Okay, you grab a couple kids and run for the door. You get to the door. Denise, you see the knights who've gathered outside, ready arrows and bows. The Inquisitor appears at the door with 2 children in his hand. Inquisitor, you see these 3 knights leveling bows and arrows in your direction.
Okay, I don't have time for this. I will drop the children and run back in.
All right, they fire. That's going to be a miss. That's going to be a 14. With a 14 hits your armor class with no armor?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Let me check.
I think it would. I don't think your dex bonus is plus 4.
Without shield, 14.
Yeah, that one will hit, doing 4 points of damage.
I'm dead.
Which will drop you. So the 2 children get out, and the knights grab the 2 toddlers and drag them away. In fact, they drag them back in and throw them back into the burning building. And they cut off the Inquisitor's head and throw his body back into the burning building. Denise, you can see all this. Clement is sleeping through it. He'll receive medical attention in a while once all the excitement dies down. They managed to evacuate the 117 non-toddlers and infants that were just recently delivered, and all of the nuns get out as well. So the only casualties are the 21 recently delivered children, the Inquisitor, and the so-called Sir Boris. And once again, another night passes with a building burning to the ground, and the screams and wailing of the of the survivors as they watch their home burn before them.
Were the nuns bringing anything else other than the children out?
No, they didn't have time. 117 children was a lot to evacuate very quickly. Andrew, you'll wake up after a while, probably about an hour or so. You've gotten medical attention. You'll have 1 hit point.
Dude.
Denise, if you want to do anything, by all means, just jump in. I just assume you're still kind of watching from afar.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you.
I'm just watching.
Okay.
So when my eyes open, I'll look at the orphanage and say, "No, no!" I just start screaming.
Sister Carpenter holds you down. It's not too hard. Says, "Relax, it's over. There's nothing else you can do."
So I just close my eyes and I say, "The Inquisitor?"
We don't know. He could have been one of them. There were 2 Inquisitors. Both are dead.
How did they react to the body?
And she says, the fire purges.
I fall back and just let my hands out, snow angel position. As my head hits the back of the ground, I'm just like, ah. And I stroke the side of my face and I say, "Yeah, you really missed your calling, sister. That was one hell of a swing."
I didn't miss my calling. I found my calling. Unfortunately, I was not in a position to maintain it. She says, "We will take the children to Argyle and see what can be done. From there, we will beseech the help of Brother Naylor."
How do they react when they find a body just that is the same as the head knight?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. They would have thrown it into the fire as well because they don't know. Is that him?
Would they have thrown him into the fire?
Yeah.
They question.
The actual guy was in there with me and he turned into me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I suppose since he turned into him, they would figure that this must have been really him. You're right. No, they wouldn't have. They would have taken him and they would prepare him for a proper burial.
I want to tell the sister here, sorry for trying to deceive you. I didn't know who I could trust and who I couldn't trust. I thought I was doing us a really good thing.
Another arrow lands. A note.
Okay. An arrow lands nearby. His sister looks around, grabs her axe.
It's the elf.
You read it.
I will crawl on my side over to the arrow. I pluck it out. I open it up. What does it say?
Good job.
I just let it go and I laugh. I just start laughing like a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Malleus wakes up. He's like face down and kind of like crunches his eyes open. He's like, ugh. And the ground is like warm, definitely warm. He gets up. He looks around and takes it all in, and there's just thousands of miles of like flaming rocks and caverns and things flying overhead with bat wings. And he just wakes up and he says, no, no, my lord, no. It was all for you. It was all for you.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, the sister points to the gear. She says, well, your equipment is still there. It was left outside, so it survived the fire. The Inquisitor's equipment is there, too, if you wish. You're welcome to it.
Yes.
The knights will escort us to Argyle. I'm afraid that this is where we'll have to part ways.
I'll put my hand out like I want to shake her hand.
She'll give you a firm grip. She's still wearing her mail.
I'll wince. She probably has a stronger handshake than me.
Yeah. And,
yes, I will take his gear. I'll return it to the order. Lies.
She says, here. And she comes over. She says, he's a good horse. Should see you to Canterbury. Good luck, Mr. Hughes. And she walks away.
Good luck, sister.
So you got a horse. A riding horse.
Hell yeah. I'm going to tie my spoons to the back of it and Lloyd's gear.
Wait, I have Lloyd's gear.
You have his weapons, right?
I have his weapons.
You just have his armor, his leather armor.
Armor and his shield.
Yeah, and his shield, right?
It's got to be worth something.
Hell
So
yes,
as
it
they
is.
ride off, Denise, do you still stay in the woods and watch? You see Clement Hughes there by the smoldering ruins. It's raining again, so the fire is out, smoking.
I go, wait, is anyone by the ruins?
Just Clement. The rest have headed off for Argyle.
Come out. Shall we go look?
I look around. I jump up on the horse, take the reins, and I turn it. He lived by the fire, and he died by it. I pull the legs up in the air and go, yeah, and take off towards Canterbury.
Okay. What
I go
about
and
you, Denise?
And I investigate the remains of the orphanage to see if there's anything in it.
Interestingly enough, you do find in the remains of where the nursery once was, you find the remains of several dead children and a couple of dead adult males. And you find a couple of gems.
Gems.
Let me just find them here.
Did that double have a gem in its boot?
No.
Ah.
No, it's something else, which I can explain at a later time, but not right now.
Okay.
Where the fuck is the information? Anyway, yeah, you do find a couple of gems. Yeah, here you go. Sorry, jewels. You find a couple of small jewels. And do you have any kind of skill in appraisal or anything of that sort, or anything?
No, I do not.
You want to roll a d6 anyway.
Alrighty.
Dice Stream lets you roll another one. I'll tell you how much they're worth.
Probably not.
If it doesn't, then you might have to ask your merchant friend if you ever catch up with him running away on that horse.
My guess is I would not be able to. But he's not really concerned with money. He's concerned with
Okay.
what he thinks is a gin.
Yeah.
That's it.
2 jewels. Anyway, they look valuable. And
Okay.
one of them
Oh.
you find in the chest cavity of the remains of one of the adult males. One of them you find
over.
in the...
What's on the
remains-
face of that adult male?
Sorry?
It's the face of that adult male. I'll turn over his body because I found it in his chest cavity. What's he look like?
Well, his flesh is melted away from the fire. Both of the male bodies are of the consistent size and shape of the Inquisitor.
And I
And
found
one
a
of the-
gem in the chest of both.
No, in one of them, and the other gem you find in the chest of a dead infant. Not literally in the chest, like, it's like charred bones and,
So there was a child duplicate.
And
Okay,
that,
you can hear his voice even after the grave goes. He starts crying because these bodies have been desecrated in his mind, and he tries to dig a few graves for the infants and bury them, at least somewhat properly.
So the music plays, dark, somber, sad music as you dig the graves for these infants. Clement Hughes riding off in the distance on his new riding horse.
You see me, like, right at the end before the cut, you see a mule tied to a post out in the middle of nowhere, and a horse ride up to it, and I take the mule strap and take the mule with me.
Nice. Excellent. So that'll wrap up the Orphanage. So we'll pick up then next time in a couple of weeks. We should be arriving at Canterbury. Thanks for watching.